Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Ethereum injective and Solana price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. We're gonna start with Ethereum on the 4-hour chart here, where we still have, of course, our potential bullish scenario as 112 here unfolding toward the upside. Of course, after several impulses, we saw a 1-2 here, another impulse, of course, as another wave 1, and this kind of a corrective wave where we were looking for A, B, and a C here as diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Finished exactly in the low in the blue box here, where we are between the 0.786 and the 0.618 also for wave 2 perfect fib levels. We saw a reaction pushing toward the upside, and of course, if we take a look closer at it, we can see here a potential diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a wave 1, A, B, and a C, wave 2 perfect fib level again for a potential 1, 2 here. And we saw, of course, another impulse pushing for higher as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, potential wave 1, and also a potential wave 2 was given yesterday. So basically, I would say even it's not an ABC here, can be something else, because of course, if you are in an impulse here, you cannot count it, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is your second for 5? You got invalidation, as you can see, of a bearish. Therefore, it's not really an ABC here. I would call it, of course, a W, X, and a wave Y there, where you have, of course, a zigzag for the W and X and another zigzag for the wave Y, finishing wave 2, and we push again toward the upside. Now, yesterday on the micro level, we saw this push for higher prices. However, of course, this was supposed to be a very strong impulse. Now, it can be, of course, like several 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what is your second for 5? Is it this one? Well, I doubt it. I think that this is, of course, a finished ABC here, where we might be in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Again, leading diagonal towards the upside, which it might be unfolding as something bullish probably here, and looking for higher prices. However, with this leading diagonal, you might finish a potential wave A or a wave 1, and then getting wave 2, 3, 4, and a 5 toward the upside. Basically, if we are here in a big leading diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, you would like to see, of course, an impulse or an ending diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, which is also can be, of course, a potential ending diagonal here. However, you would like to see, of course, a wave 5 hitting this area. And I would say if this, of course, the possibility here as a leading diagonal is unfolding, you would like to see a wave 5 basically hitting this target. As a wave 5 in diagonal, you would like to see this target. So I'm gonna remove some things here to make it cleaner, so we don't need this anymore. I'm gonna remove also this. I'm gonna keep only the 0.786 as a signal, and of course invalidation of bearish taken, and currently therefore we're looking exactly for this blue box as a potential target. Now, in case this happens, well, it can be, of course, your leading diagonal wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Probably can be an extended wave 1 here, 3, 4, and a 5. In case that we break the 3,480 here, that means, of course, something very bullish is unfolding, meaning double 1, 2. So what we need to watch right now for Ethereum is, of course, the 3,400, 3,350 or in between. So this is a very essential target. It can be here, of course, the potential wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 somehow. But if we continue, then okay, it's a double 1, 2. We continue toward the upside. Wave 3 might unfold for 5, 4, 5. 3,696 is your invalidation of anything bearish anyway. In case that this is a big 1, 2, 3 here, and you're looking for wave 4 right now, which is an ABC probably, and you drop down, well, that will be invalidated. This possibility will be gone. And of course, we're looking here for something bullish, therefore, for Ethereum. And yeah, we'll see, of course, how this is going to unfold. Some key level to be watched here is, of course, in case that the price action comes back to this area here or to this price, this is, of course, confirmation for lower prices. an invalidation of anything, of course, as an impulse or as a diagonal. So $3,017 is, of course, your key level. If the price stays above it, we would like to see, of course, this target hit. If we break this one, and then, okay, something bullish there is unfolding for Ethereum, can be very likely a new bull run that we were looking for. So we'll see, of course, guys, what's going to happen in Ethereum. Let's move for the next one, which is Solana. So for Solana on the 4 hours chart, we are looking also at a potential diagonal, leading diagonal wave 1 here, or wave A. You have a very deep correction already given. We have hit the perfect FIB levels also for a correction in a 1-2. We saw also 3 waves down and a wave B, of course, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be, of course, something very impulsive in case it wants to turn like several 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. And that means, of course, on the lower time frame here, this correction is potentially an ABC there, where you see an A, B, and a C probably finished exactly at the 1-to-1 fib level 146. And of course, we drop down. As we saw, of course, it was a potential correction here. But still, of course, can be very likely, I'm going to remove this as well to see the price here, can be very likely, of course, that it can be a big 1-2 in case that this is going to transform to something as an impulse, meaning like a 1, 2, 3, but I don't see it wave 4 and a 5. Why? Because wave 5 looks for me 3 waves first, and your wave 3 is also 3 waves. So something is not working well over here. So I would say even if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, you finished here potential A, B, and a C can be, of course. And of course, you have like a very sideways wave B, but I don't see this as well because we finished in, of course, 3 waves. Therefore, W, X, and a Y for me is much more likely here. It can be as well the same here as a W, X over there, because you might have a 3 waves as a zigzag X and another zigzag as a wave Y, finishing wave 2 and pushing for higher again. Now, as you can see on the 15-minute chart as well, it is a kind of a potential zigzag there, but maybe let me check with Solana is a little bit different. Well, it can be even ABC expanding flat, so we cannot really consider this. So much preferable, of course, to consider the diagonals, the same as for Ethereum here. Unfolding, of course, as a potential diagonal wave 1, and then we're looking for wave 2, of course, after it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, which it's gonna turn, of course, several 1, 2 here, and then pushing for higher in case we are looking for something very, very massive. But in case, of course, if we are in the priority scenario here, which is the leading diagonal, we're looking for a wave 5 as well. So I'm gonna take this wave 5 as a potential target here. I'm gonna clean up also there, we don't need it. So we potentially have, of course, a wave 5 target over there to be hit, and preferably as an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. I'm expecting after an extended wave 1, short wave 3, short wave 5. Probably can be, of course, finishing leading diagonal wave 2 then, and then pushing for higher again. Also, if we take a look here on the KGT for Solana, now we see, of course, a lot of pressure from the bears there. Of course, we can see a very strong convergence with the bearish signal here. We see, yeah, the market is not so much happy all the time right now. Like every time we see some green, somehow, of course, the bears show up in a very massive pressure. Especially also on the 1-minute chart here, you can see how much the pressure is coming in here in the top of the leading diagonal, and also you can see how much pressure also is coming on the lower time frame. Every time we see a little bit higher prices, something push it down, and is the same is happening right now. However, what is very nice to see here is that the bearish signal is invalidated with these higher prices, especially, of course, when you got a leading diagonal over there. However, I don't see yet, of course, a bullish signal as divergence, preferably to see it. Maybe it's gonna be the wave 2, meaning once unfolding wave 2, the CVD line is gonna push downward, and of course creating a very nice divergence. By all means here on the chart, if once we finish wave 1 here and we push for wave 2, the CVD line might push for lower, creating a divergence, and this might be your 1-2 and pushing the wave 3, 4, and a 5 toward the upside. So that would be a great signal, of course, in case this really is gonna unfold and happen. That might be, of course, our signal for something bullish there, starting to unfold at least as a leading diagonal, changing the market overview, yeah, about this bear market, which it might, of course, turns into something for higher prices. Yep. So also, if you would like to see also for Ethereum, the KGT as well is showing also, be careful on the 3-minute chart, is showing pressure from the bears, of course. But yeah, as I mentioned, the leading diagonal might play here, wave 5, and then pushing down, playing this signal. And on the 1-minute chart here, we can see, of course, that the price might push for higher a little bit, getting the high, finishing the leading diagonal. But if we get the CVD line here pushing for lower in a wave 2, well, it's a little bit hard to say, guys. This signal is very low. But if the CVD line is going to be very massive, meaning a lot of entries, bulls entries there, that might be, of course, something interesting as well. Yeah, so we're gonna see, guys. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. But basically, there is, of course, a possibility and chance to push for higher, especially after invalidation. And this has finished, of course, as something complex in corrective wave. And of course, we might see something pushing for higher. Yep, so this is regarding Solana. Let's move to Injective as well. Let's start with the 4 hours here for Injective. Well, we are in double 1, 2, 3, 4, and potential 5, 4, and a 5. Finished, of course, as an impulse there, and we saw a reaction, which is very nice because this was your lowest low here, and you start an impulse from it. And that means, of course, it has to be something to push towards the upside. Now, every time we see something pushing for higher in green, the market start, of course, to push against it, right? Lately, I don't know why, but currently, what we saw, basically, based on Elliott Wave and the Fib level, is a nice hit here in the perfect Fib level for wave 2. 1, 2, and potentially we push for higher. Now, the good thing is that we took the invalidation of anything bearish there, because if you are in 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, 1, 2 here, if wave 3 was unfolding short 1, you got already the invalidation so far, and we push already for higher. So definitely this has finished also as a big W here, W, X, and a Y for Injective, finishing wave 2 or a wave B, and we're looking for something for higher. Very likely on the 50-minute chart again that this is, yes, it is a zigzag, and that means, of course, the only way to count bullish here is the leading diagonal again. Now the wave 3 looks somehow longer, which I don't like it as well. But it still can be, of course, a possibility where we are still contracting here. Still, of course, it happens in very rare case. But it can be, of course, guys, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now, even it's still not invalidated yet. Yeah, but I believe that it's gonna invalidate this. And we're gonna see, of course, a wave 4 potentially. And then would like to see, of course, continuation for a wave 5. If this doesn't happen, meaning finishing here as 3 waves and pushing down, well, that is gonna be, of course, a possibility here for rejection. I would say, again, something more complex, and it might be, of course, something as a big 1, 2 here, probably can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, which I don't like it at all. But A, B, C here, or W, X, and a Y, again in 3 waves, and then pushing down. So still, of course, the possibility there as a big 1, A, B, C, or W, X, and Y, and pushing down for one more low, meaning, of course, on the bigger time frame, it can be, of course, that you're still in the double 1, 2, wave 3, and then wave 4, finished as diagonal, as we mentioned in this possibility, and then 4 and a 5 again for the double 1, 2 here. So hopefully not, guys, because it's time for me. I think it's time to push for higher, at least in a massive correction, and then pushing down probably later on. Because I see a finished structure there. And of course, the market has drained, I would say, for the altcoins, at least not for Bitcoin. Bitcoin can transfer to different psychology as explained in the daily. Of course, it can still be bearish, but it can transform to something as diagonal, ending diagonal toward the downside. Yep, so these are the possibility for Ethereum, Solana, and Injective. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.